Hi, I'm Dick Eydt from Bites by Eydt. We are a boutique catering company based in Atlanta, Georgia, and we service up and down the eastern seaboard, Tennessee, New York, Connecticut, Nantucket, and down to Florida. When we do our cooking shows, we like to do things that someone at home can easily do. Not a lot of complicated steps, something that's very easy. We take some shortcuts, so they are items that you can make at home, and they're very yummy, and they're simple to make, and I hope you enjoy them. Every so often I'll do a catering event, and we'll do a brunch or a breakfast, maybe for a graduation or for a bridal shower. Someone said, why not do some French toast? So I said, well, yeah, we can do a French toast on camera. And so we thought about doing a really yummy French toast. Not your typical run-of-the-mill French toast, but one that's more like a custard. So it's pretty yummy. So we'll start with that today. And then the second part, we'll do some poached eggs, which we do a lot of, on English muffins with a homemade hollandaise sauce. So let's start with the French toast. So having a nice thick, this is a sourdough bread. I think if it's thick, then all you really need is one piece per person, even maybe a half a piece per person. You can slice it in half. But the key to this is that you have to let the bread soak for, oh gosh, at least 20 minutes, 30 minutes, so that the cream and the eggs and the sugar and the vanilla, the cinnamon, the nutmeg, all get mixed into the bread, and so it's a soggy bread. So let's start with that. So I'm going to cut this about an inch thick. I don't think I'd go any thicker than an inch, but I definitely do an inch. And this is a great little sourdough that I picked up at the market. You could also use this that is a day old, so it has a little bit more crunch to it. The only problem, if it's too old, it'll just take that much longer for the wet ingredients to soak in there. Okay, so we have that in there. We'll add 2 eggs. I always crack the eggs on a flat surface so the shells don't go in. And then we'll add our cream. This is heavy cream, probably a good cup or so, because you want it so it can take up the entire and soak the entire bread. Okay, whisk that up nicely. We'll add some cinnamon, a pinch of cinnamon. Now when you add the cinnamon, make sure you whisk it really well. If you wanted to put it in a blender, you could put it in a blender, because what you don't want to have is clumps of cinnamon as someone's biting into one. Really incorporated into the wet mixture. Some ground nutmeg. And then we'll add a dash of vanilla extract. I like the vanilla. I'm a vanilla addict, so I added all of that. And then we're going to add tiramisu cappuccino. It's by Amaretti, and that's going to give it some nice flavor. So about 2 ounces in there. If you wanted to add brandy to it or a cognac, you could do that too. And then we're going to take some orange zest and add that to it. Gives it some nice flavor. Again, it's fresh. By doing this, it's just not your average French toast. It is quite yummy and different. And whenever we do our parties, we always do things, make menu items with fantastic ingredients and just a little bit different from what most people do. So we were just rated the top on-site catering company in Atlanta by 2 separate sources, 2 separate magazines, and so that's nice. And that's what makes us different from all the other catering companies in Atlanta, because we bring all the food, all the equipment, we cook it, prepare it, and serve it and clean up on site. and that's better than almost all the other catering companies I know in Atlanta. Have a central commissary kitchen. They make it in the morning, they store it, and then they bring it to the house and they reheat it. So it's just not as, the food is good, it's just not as good. And I think that's why we got rated as the best one in the city. So yay for us. Okay, put the orange in there, and then we'll whisk it again. So you get a nice color in there between the amaretti, tiramisu cappuccino, and the vanilla. Okay, and now we'll put the bread in. Again, that's a good inch thick. So we'll take it and put it in there and move it around. So as you can see, the little holes in there, it's going to take a while for that to soak in. So what I did beforehand, cheated a little bit, and I made one about 20 minutes before shooting this one. So this has been in for about a half an hour. So you can see the difference when I squeeze it. It's soggy, it's mushy. I'll take it out so you can see it. So when I squeeze it, see, it's the custard, the cream and the eggs has really gotten in there well, and it's saturated. I do take a spoon sometimes and put it on top. You can see little holes coming in every time I squeeze it, the air bubbles, and that's how the mixture gets really saturated into the bread. So half hour or so, and we're good to go. Okay, the last part that we're going to put either maple syrup on it. You could put honey on it when it's finished. I'll do some toasted pecans. In Georgia, in the South, pecans are prevalent, so I use a lot of local pecans from South Georgia. So we'll go back and we'll first saute the French toast, and then we'll finish it off in the oven, and then I'll put the pecans in the oven and let that toast up. Okay, so let's bring the pecans back, the butter back, and our great French toast. So we'll get the both pans up to speed, up to temperature. The oven's already on. I set it for 400, but I'm going to give this a quick saute. And put some butter in the pan. You can never have too much butter, so probably half a stick of butter. Add that in there. I'll add the pecans. I put it on high to start with. I'll let that get up to temperature, and then I'll bring that back down. So give this a look-see. And once this is melted, I can add the French toast. I want to make sure that there's plenty of butter in there. Again, I don't want it too hot, but I just want to get the temperature up. And then I'll put the temperature back down to about medium low. I just want to get some color on the French toast. And I want to bring out some of the flavors, the natural oils in the pecans. So take a look at this. Let this go a couple more minutes before I turn it down. The butter's starting to melt. I don't want it to brown or get black, so I'm going to turn down the heat on this. Take a look, lift up the pan. and this is ready to go. I'll give it one more flip, and then I'll put it on the pan. Put a little extra mixture on top, and that's good to go. So about 2-3 minutes aside, flip it over, and then I'll put it in the oven, and then I'll put the pecans in the oven after this gets up to temperature. Okay, so we'll give that a whirl. Okay, so the next item for breakfast is poached eggs. It's like, how hard is poached eggs? Well, it can be a little tricky, right? So the key to it is for the water not to be at a raging boil, but at a low boil. And then number two, to create a little swirling action. So as the egg whites, it goes around the egg yolks, it forms a nice little pocket and protective measure. So we'll do a couple of poached eggs. We'll do it on some English muffins, and there you go. So we'll do one at a time. So I'll swirl the water, not too violent of a swirl, but enough of a swirl so you can see it creates a little bit of an eddy there, and drop in. And as it swirls around, 2 minutes, and you can see it's moving around it. And I like my egg yolks to be sort of runny, but if you want it to be well done, cook it about 5-6 minutes, but about 2-3 minutes is about all you need. The fresher the eggs, the more the egg whites will stay together. And we'll pull it out, and then we'll dry it, and then we'll put it on some English muffins. So we'll give that another 2 minutes. Okay, so the English muffins, you can either toast them. I like to put them in the oven, and they get nice and crunchy all over, which is the reason I love the English muffins. Put that on the platter, and then I'm sort of a glutton for punishment. I like to drizzle a little bit of butter on top of it. You could also make a hollandaise sauce for it, but having a little bit of butter on the bottom of the eggs. And then I'll put a little bit of pepper on the bottom, and a little bit of the salt seasons, the pink Himalayan salt. Just a little bit, because we're also going to put some on the top. So these have been in for about 3-4 minutes. You can see how they stay together quite nicely. And I'm just going to dab it off a little bit. And there we go. So take a little pepper on top. Take a little seasoned salt, pink Himalayan, sprinkle that on there, and there you go. A very quick and easy poached eggs on English muffins to go with the French toast. Remember to swirl it, and the egg whites come in on top, and it creates a nice poached egg. Enjoy. Okay, so a nice poached egg on English muffins. We have a custardy French toast with pecans, amaretto, cappuccino, and I want to thank my sponsors, Salt Seasons, the pink Himalayan, and also amaretto, our cappuccino tiramisu sponsors for this. So hope you enjoy these nice little breakfast items, easy to make and yummy and fun to eat. So thank you again for watching Bites by Eydt. So one of the steps I forgot with the cream and the nutmeg and the cinnamon is just put some sugar on there. So you just sprinkled a little bit of sugar on top and then flipped it over so it got some extra sweetness and some more caramelization. So it's been in about 10 minutes. I cooked on the stovetop about 3 or 4 minutes aside. We got some nice color to it, and now we'll take it off and be ready to plate it and put on the toppings. So you can see some nice coloring on there. And then I'll take this out. Put it on the plate. Okay. Then the pecans, we had the pecans sauteed on top of the stovetop for 3-4 minutes. And then in the oven, since it was set at 400 for the French toast, I normally cook the pecans at around 200 so they don't burn. And you can leave them in for 15 or 20 minutes. But because this is at a higher temperature, I really had to watch it because they can easily burn. But they have some good color to it, and the smell, the aroma, the oils came out. I'll chop these up. Not a fine chop, sort of a coarse chop, so you can see it. You get a nice crunch when you bite into it. Okay, so I'll put on a little bit of maple syrup or honey. This is honey. I like honey. I do like Vermont maple syrup too. This is local honey. And then I'll put on the amaretti, tiramisu cappuccino, some good color for it. If you wanted to, you could put on, I love Toblerone chocolate. You could put a little Toblerone cream sauce on there. And then we'll sprinkle on some toasted pecans. And there you go. A nice custardy French toast with pecans, cappuccino, amaretti, and some honey. Enjoy.